furthering racial equity is really, really important. And what will I do to further racial equity in Durham? I'm going to continue to talk about the reason why. A lot of times when people hear racial equity, they don't understand what that means. They'll say things like, we should all just be the same. Shouldn't we treat everybody equally and fairly and the same? And that's true, and we should. The problem is racial equity. When you study racial equity, you learn that some things happened in history that have put some people in a position relative to other folk that's disadvantageous. Some things happen in history that account for some of the disparities we see in housing, in income, even what our neighborhoods look like, whether your streets are paved or not, the conditions of your roads. A lot of that goes back to historical decisions that people like me in government made. So it's really important that we further racial equity. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to support infrastructure initiatives and green initiatives targeted in neighborhoods that have been historically disinvested in, or have historically been left out of getting good things from their government. So projects like sidewalks, we're going to prioritize neighborhoods. I'm going to ask us to prioritize neighborhoods that may not have had their sidewalks fixed in a long time because of discrimination and because of being left out historically. I'm going to ask for citizens and residents to understand, to study our history in the city and understand why Black Wall Street in Durham doesn't exist anymore, why Hayti, which was a thriving historic Black community here in Durham, doesn't exist anymore. And that just as there were policies that cause these things, there are policies that we can act that can address them as well. So I'm going to be pushing very hard and things like that.
The term race was created by the white slave master to separate the slaves from those who were not slaves. In history, the term race is unknown, unheard of. It's something that was created. And I think that anytime you use the term race, it provides further division amongst people. DNA tells you that we're all related, that we all, can get together. As a matter of fact, mitochondria DNA, what they call mitochondria Eve, states that she's the mother of all. I mean, that we all came from the same place, the same source. And so to say use race, I think that's the thing that further adds to the division. We need to eliminate that term race and start looking at people for who they are and what they are. And so I think the one thing we do to help that is that what you need to do is look at the poverty. Now, poverty, you'll find that there are specific groups of people who tend to be more in poverty than others. When you address the poverty issue, you address all these other issues.